ask you, Professor, because I want to talk about America's reputation around the rest of the world.
Sure.
I know whenever we have these horrible school shootings, often the international press will call you and they will ask you for a comment.
Sure.
I mean, do you think that it's actually possible to say, how come nobody does anything in this country? I don't know what you say to them, but do you think it's possible that we can eradicate guns in this country and try to stop these school shootings that we seem to be having such a rash of lately?
Well, I do think that we can do something about the problem we have with violence. We stand out among industrialized countries like a sore thumb, and guns represent only one part of the problem. You've heard from your other guests some of the other parts of the problem, that kids need somewhere that they can belong. They need healthy things to do, and they don't need to come into contact with danger like guns on a regular basis. In addition, our children are doing exactly what we train them to do. We feed them a diet of violence. We glamorize it. And we've been lately marketing that violence to girls, I'd say the last 20 years, the way we've been marketing it to boys for centuries. And guns are a part of that whole advertising, marketing. I mean, it's the entertainment media, but I use advertising and marketing very intentionally here because our children learn what's glamorous. They learn what the hero does. They learn that being in a gang is, you know, a popular thing to do. And in many ways, we set them up by making this culture one that markets and advertises violence to them, and they're short on other ways to solve problems.
I'd like to get Mr. Hernandez's take on that. As a former gang member, someone who now works with police violence prevention, what did you think about what Dr. Sith just said as far as giving these young men especially something else to do, another way to belong than to a gang? I mean, do you think that for these young men that these gun violence, it is glamorized?
Oh, very definitely. It's glamorized, it's glorified. They see it on the media, they hear it within their community, their peers, their friends. And so they're basically, and I share the same view here, in that they're misinformed. And it's our, as adults, and we're in a position where we are in a position, whether it's a public health approach or whether it's the Department of Justice approach, to help these young people become misinformed. They're getting a lot of misinformation about how to handle their situations, how there's, you know, how there's what it is to be a man, and what it is to,
well,
how to
gun's
respond.
the answer.
And it leads up to that. You know, it basically leads up to somebody has a gun in front of them, or they feel that threatened by another group of people that they feel they have to arm themselves.
Mayor Healy, let me ask you, on the streets in your city, when you talk with young people, are you hearing some of the same things that Mr. Hernandez is talking about? I mean, what do you think is a way to try to curb some of this?
Well, absolutely what the professor has stated and Mr. Hernandez stated is accurate. You have young people now that there's not much restraint. There's no self-control, and you know, the slightest insult on the street
when you say
provokes
restraint,
not just a not just an argument or a fight. It provokes a shooting and a killing.
When you say restraint, are you even talking about like parental control, parental involvment?
I mean self-control of the individual.
Okay.
That's another issue. Kids having kids, you know, that may be the seminal cause of all of this too. But there is no restraint, and you have there's such a proliferation of illegal guns, particularly handguns out there, that a simple argument turns into a shooting and a homicide, and that's what we have to try and do. If you can't make parents take discipline, guide, and love their children, and you can't make the children behave better, at least you can keep the illegal guns from getting into their hands. And if we can achieve that, which is what this mayor's organization is aiming at, we will have taken a great step forward.
To learn more about Mayors Against Illegal Guns, you can go to www.mayorsagainstillegalguns.org. And please remember, you can always talk back to the newsmakers about this show or other women's issues exclusively on ABC News Now. Just go to any story on abcnews.com to find out how. I'm Laura Marquez in New York. Thanks so much for watching.